We all know that climbing is changing on a daily basis. It might be some new hard outdoor routes or maybe some new coordination moves that you have never seen before. But the essence always stays the same. You need body tension, you need finger strength, and also some explosive strength at some point. The real difference rather comes out in the overall style of climbing that you do. And of course, with that, also your personal progression differs depending on how you climb and which styles you rather do. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about the benefits, but also the problems with the two major styles that there are nowadays. And I have to mention that this video is biased by a passionate outdoor climber like me. So enjoy the journey and let's see. Before we can get into the differences, we kind of have to classify first what outdoor style and what comp style means, in this video at least. This is not an overall definition that is out there. So the comp style, for example, I mostly imagine like running around from left to right, basically everything that is rather parkour-y, anything that Toby Seeger would like. It is basically coordination dyno based, you could say. The outdoor style also has some dynamic aspects to it, but I imagine it as rather body tensiony, having some momentum to get to the next hold, but then you just stay in the static position for some time. You use your momentum to make singular moves easier, and it's not a flow of moves, basically. But of course, some of the moves that you do can be done completely static. And this already brings us to the first point that I want to talk about, the strength aspect of both styles. We all kind of know that outdoor climbing is extremely finger strength dependent and also body strength dependent. If you want to perform well, you will need this. And on top, you also need to have a really good technique. But the coordination aspect is not as important. You also need a really good feeling for details, in my opinion. The main part is that you need to trust your feet on really small jibs and also have to generate a lot of momentum for large moves, like jumping from a crimp into another crimp from only small holds and small feet. And all of them are mostly really bad. But they are not really sketchy, they are just bad. Of course, you need all of this that I'm mentioning here in comp climbing as well. I'm just pointing out the focus of the different styles here. So if you do a lot of outdoor climbing, you of course become strong in doing what you are doing, right? You will get strong fingers and you will also get strong abs, body tension wise, and also fairly strong toes, I have to say. I will still not show my feet here. Especially when you do those harder moves. If you try to do those moves like really, really controlled, I think, in my personal opinion and also my personal experience, that you get really strong really, really fast. That's how I approached all of my climbing so far. Of course, where applicable. I personally, for example, started climbing 2.5 years ago, like from a complete beginner. I never climbed before. And since then, I went from this complete beginner state to projecting 7C routes. And 7B plus is my current maximum. And if you want to learn more about this, write it in the comments and I will make a video out of this. You can already see in this video, for example, or there, I never know, how my body changed over this course of time doing it like I did. A thing that is rather prone in comp style climbing though is explosive movements and explosive force. With that, I don't mean generating this force from small crimps, but rather just like really big moves. One thing that is very different though from outdoor bouldering, at least mostly, is all of those dual texture shenanigans that are happening in the comps nowadays. Generating strength and momentum from just holds that are slipping away. I cannot imagine that in general. It feels just so weird to me that you have to make your shoes wet to better stand and also just leave away the chalk because then you will hold your dual text hold. It's mind-boggling to me. All of the things that are done in comps nowadays are just not slow and steady, right? I mean, let's just look back at the Olympics. You are just doing parkour, as said earlier, which is fine, of course. It's just not what I prefer. So my personal feeling is that comp style boulders kind of want to make you feel bad. They want you to feel insecure in your positions and they kind of want to just kick you off. But on the other hand, outdoor boulders, or the outdoor style rather, wants to be climbed, but you just need to be strong enough for that. Or you have to have your repertoire of technique in your bag to be able to do it. those routes want to be climbed. I, for example, just cannot do those runny and jumpy moves. I'm way too slow of a person for that. But that's fine, right? It's my personal preference. They just don't really speak to me, if you know what I mean. But if they do speak to you and if you like them, please enjoy them. Enjoy them for both of us, right? Sometimes it also actually catches me to try them. But to be honest, I mostly just try to do them in a static manner and beta break them. And it usually works actually, which is quite funny. The problem that I might see with comp style bouldering is rather you are still getting, of course, some finger strength and so on, but you are really doing more parkour style things and you are more training your coordination than the strength aspect. Of course, you're also training strength. I'm not denying that. But the focus is more there in outdoor climbing or outdoor styles, at least. Every sport also has its own injury potentials, right? But here it kind of differs for both styles. There's still a big overlap, well, because it's both climbing, right? The important thing, the important part that I want to talk about here is that if you're injured, then you cannot really train, at least to a certain degree, and that keeps you from getting stronger. So it's also fairly bad. Please don't get injured. I mean you. As said before, the outdoor style is extremely fingery. You need to hold lots of small holds and generate momentum out of them, or just statically hold them. That might also be enough already. And that's putting a lot of strain onto your pulleys, your fingers in general, your tendons, and also your muscles in your forearms. So if you want to prevent getting injured, there's not a 100% cure for this, or like a 100% prevention method for this. Just give your body enough time to adapt if you are new, and also give your body enough time to heal and recover after hard sessions. Also, if something feels wrong, you most probably just shouldn't do it. But you should also not stop yourself from pushing yourself. So just try to go steady and don't overdo it. Please don't injure yourself. This is fairly different in comp style bouldering though, since this style has become more dominant, so to say, in climbing gyms nowadays. Shoulder injuries have spiked, and also wrist injuries have become more and more. The problem mostly is that you have to do those like jumpy kind of things. All of the repetition in this also just puts lots of strain onto your body. Just imagine you are doing a human flag the whole day through. It sometimes even happened that, for example, fingers got stuck while doing some harder moves, some like swinging and then jumping moves. And this is not good at all. So whenever you do comp style bouldering, I would also recommend you to not overdo it and know your limits. Since I don't personally do this myself though, I cannot tell you what the limit should be. Another thing that is sadly becoming more and more the case is injuries from falling weirdly in comp style. And this is mostly, in my opinion at least, due to some route setters not thinking of the dangers that might happen. Just imagine you are jumping from right to left and you want to land in an extended arm because you just need to do it to solve this route. Let's say you even go into a human flag position and you miss the left side. You fall onto your arm with your full body weight while it's extended, and that cannot be good for you, right? Other things would be like those running things, those parkour things on the side. Just imagine you slip and land on your another hold below the volume that you need to step on, or you slip off of a dual text and there are big holes below you. I saw people breaking or spraining their ankles with such kind of things. And that happened right in front of me, which I would not recommend. There's this one funny clip of Alex Honnold. He was a commentator for some competition and he tried some of the competition routes. He was on a volume that felt sketchy, slipped off of it, and his hair was even stuck on the side. And the guy that soloed fucking El Capitan said that this is too sketchy for him. He doesn't like it. I also want to say a couple more things with my personal opinion involved into this. I kind of feel that the comp style is getting way out of hand. Every time I open Instagram, I just see the longest dyno in the world or some moves with 360s in them where you have to slip over dual tax holes with your butt and all of those things. And it's just too much. I know it's for people that are not climbing, it's nice to look at, it's interesting to see, but it just diverges more and more from what I and many other people call climbing. It's becoming a new sport essentially. And that's not a bad thing. People that enjoy that should do that. But to a certain degree, this is also just, since it's still considered climbing, it's the case that, at least in my opinion, that outdoor style climbing is pushed out of gyms nowadays. So people like me have less to climb on and train on what they really enjoy. And we go to board climbing then, which is still fine. But once in a while, you also want to do some technical stuff. That's sadly not too possible at the moment. You can also tell me in the comments if you feel the same way, or also if you have other arguments against this. I would really enjoy learning about this and other points of views. Another thing is that even pro climbers that participated in the Olympics and different other comps, they start complaining as well. Rather because they injure themselves, they have problems that they never had before, and it's just becoming a whole nother sport. I mean, in the Olympics itself, you had so many like comp style parkour boulders, and the outdoor style just completely falls behind. This is also happening more and more in lead climbing, and that's also the thing that those pro climbers complain about. There's just a general fatigue for this style of climbing building up, and that's sad. Everything is good in its own quantity, but it's just taking over at the moment. I think that this whole style is a nice idea, that it's kind of getting too much at the moment, but also that people that enjoy it should really enjoy it and should really do it. Because it's a nice other sport. It's not what I would consider climbing at this point anymore. It's just sad that the outdoor style is slowly vanishing from what was there before. All of this was brought to you by the view of a fanatic, static climber. Sorry for the church of dynalogy. I'm not a competitor, I swear, although I might start recruiting. Keep your eyes open, climbing stuff. And with that, thank you for watching and enjoy your climbing journey. Maybe consider following and liking the video as well. Bye.